Okie dokie, folks. The what are we going to talk about tonight?
Why change is so hard.
I don't want to change.
That's why it's hard.
Well,
I don't want to change, or for me, it's I want to change. But if I'm gonna make this change, then this is gonna happen, and so I don't want that.
Oh, say that again. If I
change,
yes,
then that means such and such will happen, and then I'll feel this way, and I don't want to feel that way.
So you're projecting.
Yes.
Why are you projecting?
I think it's a safety mechanism, like a self-protector.
Okay.
That comes up that's not really helping me because change will help me, but I get it in my head that change is scary, change hurts, change is unkind.
So, wow. So, as we're thinking about this, like, you know, your emotions are like processing change in like from an experience perspective, right? So emotions, from what we understand, emotions only process things through experience. Our brains can process things through rational thought, but our emotions can only process things through experience. So,
which is why children struggle so much with change.
Because they haven't been able to experience it yet.
Well, and they don't have the logical.
That's true too.
The logical development to think through it and be like, this is a good thing. All they know is their experience, and that's what they're dependent on a lot.
And I heard recently, just today, in fact, I was listening to something, and they were encouraging. That's why, as parents, we're always encouraging, we're always teaching, we're always training, we're always reteaching and retraining, because children don't have that rational development yet all the way. So they do learn mostly through experience, and positive experiences will they will learn either positive or negative experiences. And largely excuse me, and largely depending on how we approach it, will they learn either positively or negatively.
Yes.
Excuse me.
That's so good. We were just talking before we made this about the different types of change. Like, it's all change, but there's different types. Like, there's attaining goals, there's changing a chronic habit, there's pursuing a desire, which I guess is kind of like attaining goals.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Attaining goals or pursuing a goal, or pursuing something that you want, you desire, that you feel is good or right or healthy for you. So why are those so hard? Some of the things that I think personally I face all the time is this subconscious and sometimes not so subconscious doubt about my ability. And I really have drilled down into where that came from. So I challenge you, what is the thing that you have, what is the thing that is, all right, maybe I could rephrase this. What is the voice that is behind, that is between you and whatever you want to change, whether it be a goal that you want to achieve, or like Joanna said, a chronic habit that you want to overcome. What is the voice that is speaking underneath the surface, and sometimes not so underneath the surface, that is in between you and the thing that you want to accomplish or change?
Usually it's a voice that isn't
that is negative.
Yeah, it's not a hope-filled voice. So another way of putting this, my coach told me the kind of the in between your desire and where you are. She calls it the river of misery. So like that voice is a river of misery. And
wow, that's
and she has what her kind of as the metaphor goes, I guess, what you do is you put stepping stones through that river of misery. And those are things that God can give you, like little tokens of hope or thoughts of hope or encouragements where you just kind of step a little bit at a time, because to cross the whole river at once can be very overwhelming, or just very like just it can get you before you start, right. Basically.
I had a question like that comes up in my mind is like where did I get that doubt in my ability anyway to start with? And it really, as we've understood, it's just that is really a learned response. Usually going back toward childhood, where you at some point in time you just stop believing in your ability to be able to do something. And it may have been a situation or something that you didn't achieve, but what happens as children is you start applying that failure to everything else.
Because you're living from experience. Your experience is your teacher, so you experience something and it says, oh, so this means this. Like that's their logic kicks in from experience with it's not a really clear, precise.
And perhaps you have not had influences at a younger age that brought you back into perspective and said, no, you really can do it, and was really a positive that. And so I'm speaking into those people, or speaking to those people specifically that may be listening to this, that did not have positive influences in their growing up years that really encouraged them. It was like, no, you can do it. You are, like, really had hope-filled encouragement to that I'm speaking to you, that you can still find that in the Father,
not too late.
because our Heavenly Father, and if you're not a person of faith that believes in the Lord, I just want to share with you a testimony that God has unconditional love for you, and His voice. The coaches that are listening today were talking about the voice of the Lord, and there's a lot in the Bible about the voice of the Lord and about Him speaking to us and about us. And I believe, and I'm just blanking out, I'm so sorry, like where, I think it's in John at the end of the book, talks about, no, that's talking about things that are written about Him, if you were trying to write, but where is it? And I'm sorry I'm blanking out, but that the thoughts of the Lord, they're
the sand of the sea.
Yes,
that's in Psalm 139.
Yes, thank you. Psalm 139.
Yeah,
that even the thoughts of the Lord towards you cannot even be counted.
Yeah.
And to me, that means it's all the time, right? Because if He can't count it, how many sands are in the sea? Well, nobody knows that. I mean, you can't count it. And so that means what?
You said sands on the sea.
Sands on the sea.
Sands on the seashore. I might have started that one.
Sands,
I
but
might have misquoted
there's sand inside the sea too, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just saw sand floating on the sea. Yeah. Sorry.
And especially when the fish get down there and stir up the sand, then it's on the sea,
That's
right?
True. I was thinking, for vastness sake, you went to think of seashores.
For sure. I mean, it's just like, if that is the volume that we're talking about here, then what must God be doing all the time except thinking, for lack of a better word, thinking beautiful thoughts about us?
Yeah.
Thinking lovely, like fatherly thoughts
And if you think
toward
about
us.
it, that it has to be good, because if he were up there thinking judgmental, negative thoughts, that's just like, I mean,
We'd be toast.
well, and yes, I was thinking more of him though. Like,
Oh.
Negative thinking consumes a person.
Well, that's not his character and
and
his nature.
God can't be like, he would shrivel up and die. You know what I mean? Like, if all he thought about was negative, 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 and he has infinite number of negative thoughts, that would not be the thriving, life-giving, life-creating God.
I mean, even in Philippians, he commands us as Christians, even like he tells us as Christians, whatever his things are beautiful and lovely and of good report, and the things that are virtuous. I mean, these are the things you're thinking about. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because that's my character. That's what he is like. That's what he does. And boy, we've done 2 really long ones too.
I know, and I feel like they've been all over the place
random,
a little bit.
But
so when you're thinking about change, look and see what kind of thoughts you're thinking. And if they are negative and fear-driven, then that oftentimes means you're not thinking about it right, and you're letting the emotions, which in our the circle that we've been in recently, they call that, you're letting the children drive the car, which is not safe. So put the children in the back seat. They're important. They're not in the trunk. They're not just,
they still get a voice,
shut down.
But they're not going to drive the car.
Yes, you can give them a voice, but you don't let them take charge of your direction.
Right. Sorry for the lengthy ones, but we hope it was encouraging. Again, please post a comment or like us or ring that bell or whatever it is on.
And if you do feel like fear is, like, you can't get over the fear of even something like that, even feel free to private message us or reach out that way if you feel attentive about being more public. We totally understand.
We've done a lot of work about fear, but we have a long way to go. So it's a journey.